The crypto networks are proving their worth as a neutral technology platform. We're seeing donations of both Bitcoin and Ether to the Ukraine. I think it's 50 million, if I'm not mistaken, in the last week. And we're also seeing Bitcoin as a currency hedge for Russian citizens who are watching the ruble get hammered here.
As Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces mount an invasion against Ukraine, two economies that have led the way in embracing the new form of digital money are each turning to it to gain an edge in the geopolitical showdown. The first major conflict of the crypto era also means that, for the first time ever, a tool that can move billions of dollars easily across borders is available to be marshaled by both sides. Because there is no central controller who can impose their morals on its user, crypto can be used to crowdfund for the Ukrainian army or help Russia evade sanctions. Cryptocurrency has emerged as a double-edged sword in the war between Russia and Ukraine, but experts say it's more likely to support citizens on both sides of the conflict that help oligarchs and other officials skirt economic sanctions. In her latest released video on her official YouTube channel, ARK CEO's CIO, Cathie Wood, weighs in on fears of inflation, cryptocurrency, interest rates, the velocity of money, Russia-Ukraine, how innovation solves problems, and more. In less than a decade, Cathie Wood has emerged as the public face of a tech-driven bull market on steroids. She championed actively managed exchange-traded funds, a type of investment that combines the stock picking normally associated with mutual funds with the convenience and tax benefits of ETF. Her big, concentrated bets on disruptive innovation, borderline outlandish predictions on everything from shares in electric car maker Tesla to the price of Bitcoin, and her savvy use of social media helped to drive assets in ARK's overall stable of ETF to a value of $61 billion at their peak in February last year, making her the most prominent and scrutinized female investor in the world. But those funds were hit hard in 2021 and at the beginning of 2022, though most are currently recovering. Don't forget to smash the like button as we listen to Cathie Wood take on the Russian-Ukraine war and its impacts on the economy.
We believe what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine right now is turbocharging the shock to high valuation stocks that began last February when we were all getting vaccinated, and hopes were that the economy would continue to gain momentum. And so we now believe that Russia and Ukraine have turbocharged that shock and actually hopefully moved it into a period that is very cathartic and helps people understand that what's going on right now, from our point of view, is that the higher interest rates and higher inflation are acting like taxes on the system. And we've been talking for a while about this, about consumption slowing down dramatically. If you look at retail sales, and I'm talking about real retail sales, take out the inflation, and real consumption. We've seen a dramatic slowdown since October, and we are beginning to see inventories pile up. All of that is working out the way we expected it to. Our surprise is that many economists and strategists out there aren't putting two and two together. They're paying attention to other variables, which there is conflicting evidence, but they're paying attention to other variables that support their point. Because of what's going on right now, innovation is going to get another booster shot. COVID certainly accelerated many trends, and we think the higher costs associated with supply chain issues, and now even more so with Ukraine and Russia, that companies and consumers are going to turn to innovation, and that whatever our growth expectations for our companies were within the last year, they have just accelerated again, given this new crisis. So the crypto networks are proving their worth as a neutral technology platform. We're seeing donations of both Bitcoin and Ether to the Ukraine. I think it's 50 million, if I'm not mistaken, in the last week. And we're also seeing Bitcoin as a currency hedge for Russian citizens who are watching the ruble get hammered here. And, you know, these are not the oligarchs. In fact, as we were discussing at our at our brainstorm today, there's not enough Bitcoin out there for the oligarchs to hedge. And they have been hedging for years anyway. This is for the average Russian citizen who actually is aghast, many of them, as we hear it, aghast at what's going on in Russia. Tesla is providing free supercharging in Poland. Poland's taking in, of course, a lot of refugees. And of course, we know that longer term, electric vehicles are going to help with the demand destruction of oil. I think the prices alone will destroy a lot of demand for oil and accelerate the shift to electric vehicles. And especially, we believe robo-taxis will be electric, and they'll be on the road 50 to 60% of the day. So that acceleration away from oil will happen as we move into the autonomous realm. We're seeing a lot of talk about renewables, especially nuclear, to reduce dependence on Russia. Of course, solar and wind, but I think nuclear is becoming less of a negative, even to some environmentalists who have studied it a little bit more. We're seeing, of course, the social platforms providing real-time updates and providing a glimpse into the horrors that are taking place there. And I think that has put a lot of pressure on financial institutions and others to boycott or stop doing business with Russia. It's terrible for the Russian citizens who do not want this invasion. But I think we've never seen the financial system used as such a weapon, and we'll see if it works. We also know about Starlink. I think the president of Ukraine reached out to Elon Musk and say, "Hey, we're being cut off out there," and of course, Elon sent Starlink to the rescue. So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal that we can continue to communicate with these people. And again, everyone around the world can see the horror that Ukraine is experiencing.
After Russia's invasion, many feared Ukraine's internet access would be cut off either through cyber attacks or the destruction of internet infrastructure, or both. While there have been some temporary outages and attacks on government websites, for the most part, there hasn't been an internet blackout yet. Even so, after Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister Mikhail Fedorov tweeted an appeal to Elon Musk, the billionaire sent help. Earlier this week, a truckload of Starlink satellite dishes, also known as dishes, showed up in Ukraine. Elon Musk also turned on Starlink's space internet service in the country, ushering in a round of positive headlines about his world-saving generosity. It's not clear if or when Ukraine will need an alternate internet service, but it can't hurt to have the public support of the richest man in the world. But some worry that support could bring with it additional risk if Russia was to trace the satellite signals and target whoever was using them, concerns that would be echoed by Musk himself several days later. While Ukraine seems pleased with Musk's benevolence, it may not be necessary. There have been reports of intermittent internet outages in the country, but as The Guardian points out, it's no easy task for an invading army to cut a country off from the internet, which is provided by several companies through several mediums, including fiber optic cables, cellular networks, and other satellite internet services. This isn't Tonga, where one vulnerable cable supplies the internet to an entire nation. And it's perhaps even harder to cut the internet off in a country like Ukraine, which for years has faced cyber attacks from Russia. By necessity, it has had to make its internet services as resistant to attacks as possible. Even so, having Starlink seems on the surface to be a good thing, even if it is as overhyped as everything else Musk does. As noted by Cathie Wood, cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, is proving its worth. However, we believe this is just the beginning to the many positive changes that cryptocurrency will bring to the world. Thanks for watching. Please give the video a like and stay savvy till our next video.